How's it going? It's Matt Small here. Thank you for coming through. And ask a question. If I answer the question, so that we'll be able to let you know why this stuff happens the way it does happen. There's a strategy. So this way you can understand it when you're actually seeing it. Because you got to be able to catch the cycle of this stuff happening when it is happening. Strong enough. What's going on, man? Also, right, so, so somebody asked me a question. I'm not going to say who it's about, but you have to understand how acting informed. Let you like the video monk coming in, so that way you can understand how acting, how replacing tangible people with people who are acting informed is actually sabotaging actual progress. It's really not that difficult. So let's say this. All right. Now, you have to understand that people within the space have mastered the art of acting informed, relooping information, but not providing tangible results, not tangibly organizing, not tangibly doing anything. So what it is that within Black America, a lot of people want to act informed because they think that they missed their opportunity and chance to be productive within the environment. They haven't missed their chance. It's just that they never tried because being productive actually requires discipline, work, and an actual tangible solution. But acting informed doesn't require any of that. Okay, so let me explain to you how this time loop works so that way you can understand it yourself. There's no reason for prison scholars within the Black space of YouTube to always end up having themselves be around abject niggas and not providing a tangible result. Again, when you see this individual in somebody's chat, when you see this individual respond to somebody's video, you know this person is full of shit, patient X in the manosphere. All you got to do is wait till this dude start popping up on people's panels. Wait till you find out who he's actually ending up around, because these individuals are interested in making sure street culture don't die. See, this is why we having this Black culture revival shit going on within the manosphere. You have online dudes trying to resurrect pimp game, online dudes trying to resurrect street credibility, online dudes trying to resurrect or keep in charge prison scholars. You even have dudes online acting like they're street dudes giving out stock advice. I'm talking about a dude with a damn near 1,000 person channel. I'll shave it off. Because reading shit and acting informed is very easy. Providing tangible results within this framework within Black America is not even required. Because people don't respect outcomes. They don't respect outcomes. They respect intention to get outcomes, the dream of getting better outcomes. But see, if you see this stuff from beginning to end, you can be able to catch this process and how it loops itself over and over and over again within the environment. Now, one of the biggest ways this happens is to talk around reparations. You have person after person talk about reparations, but you don't understand governments only give reparations to people who are in a position to take power away from them. It isn't something that's just given to people. They get powerful enough to overtake the government. That's not how that works. Yeah, I'm getting to that. So you have to understand that everybody's trying to find a quick way to get on in the environment, right? And since they know the end goal of most of these people in this environment is to eventually talk to women without getting the actual consequences of interacting with said women, that's what it is. Because just like how people wanted to be friends with online Pookie without having to deal with all the bullshit that comes with Pookie, the same thing is happening with the conversation with online Keisha. It's the same process. Everyone want to talk to Keisha about her outcomes from a safe place, and that's what this is about. This is what has happened. And the reason why this happened is because there was no real progress. The progress was supposed to happen after you turn the computer off, after you signed out of whatever platform to which you interact with these people with. That's where the real progress was supposed to happen. But if there is no real progress, you're going to have a lot more people come in and try to act like there's an end goal to all this. And now, you have to understand that being an informed individual and being a productive individual within this America right now is one of the easiest things that can possibly be done. But what's even easier than actually picking a path and going towards it and having a specific solution is finding reasons to stay behind. Finding reasons to legitimize stagnation. That's what it has come down to. I understand that the entertainment people and the people who are never serious and the blue pill man and the black pill women who's looking for a turnip truck nigga have all came into the space to drown out the actual message of the management with pure numbers because they have pure numbers on their side. I'm talking about 95% of these people in Black America. This is exactly what you see. It's going to fall. And this is why the black pill is pretty much the only way out of this. It's to learn the truth about the entire cycle itself and then make moves to never be caught up in the cycle itself. So there is a strategy here by the oldest people in the space to make sure that there are no productive people beneath them. Because a basic productive person don't really need all this bullshit help within the space. A basic productive person. Now, a basic productive person don't need help from prison scholars, don't need help from online street people, don't need help from online game officials. Because when you're basically productive, you can move yourself around into other environments. You don't even have to necessarily leave the country. But as long as you can be able to move around other environments and be able to expand what you actually see and have a level of comparison from where you are to where you're actually going, these things become better on their own. This is why most of the people within the environment don't concentrate on productivity. They concentrate on entertainment because entertainment is not about progression. Entertainment is about to keep looping the same argument in and in and in again. It's kind of like a jackhammer, pummeling bad ideas into the concrete, even if there's no bad ideas to be pounded upon. But whenever someone talks about progress, that's when they just crank up the damn pounder. Because you have to realize this stuff may be entertaining, but it's on you still to get yourself out of the situation. Because you're not going to make it to 40, 50 years old and then turn around and try to be a YouTube master. You're not going to have room inside your life to be a talentless guy, come online, buy a whole bunch of equipment, and then just not really up your game in your personal life and act like since you bought said equipment, you are now more legitimate of a content creator than somebody else. Again, it's about content creation, not content cloning. That's what has happened here. So there is a strategy because they had to come online to prove that they won. Because they don't need game guys in cities across America. They don't. Remember, they had to take the pimp game that they're not a part of to online space because they couldn't be taken seriously within their cities. They had to take it online to gather other individuals. They couldn't take what they failed at generally in life. They had to come online to make sure that it actually was something that netted other failures to get it done. They're invested, but they're not invested in something that you think that they're not invested in. They are invested. They're invested in the actual society not changing. You think these people want everybody to get their stuff together and become a productive person? What would that do to all the PhDs who went and got all this information to keep repackaging and regurgitating the same problems that we know that are in Black America? Think of it as a multiplier effect. How are we supposed to get to go forward if the only thing that we're creating on a cyclic loop is failure? Entertainment and failure, entertainment and failure, entertainment and failure. What happens when you replace entertainment and failure with information, organizing, and producing a result? Now you have a level where the churn rate isn't so high because now you have an end goal that is comparable to everybody else in society. And once you start creating those things, the level of failure becomes smaller and smaller because there's a cultural buy-in for a specific result over and over again, over and over again. So now the high number of bullshitters become lesser and lesser because now there's a new end goal. The new end goal is so that way you don't end up like the older people. who didn't do anything with their life. That's a hell of a lot different than what we have now. What we have now is we want to make sure that the people really end up like the older people who you see within the society and space. It's not the government, it's us. We're trying to create failure over and over again. We're trying to create escapism culture to make up for the fact that we didn't do what the hell we were supposed to do when we were supposed to do it over and over again. We're the one who's trying to find a voice for 50 and 60-year-old people. We're doing that. Then, if you don't want to be compared to any other group of people, it all works. It's like a hermetically sealed box where you want the results of everybody else, but you don't want to do the cultural work that everyone else has done. This is why everybody wants to talk about women, but don't nobody want to move past women. Nobody wants to move past women. Because your job in this American society was not supposed to be centered around your job within this society was supposed to be stepping past broken women and broken men and creating a reality for yourself where neither one of these people have any type of power going forward in society. So they found other ways of looping back in their end goal with everyone else. The very first end goal was to make it so that way you would never reach the level of tranquility by hooking you to a product that they know is going to destroy you before you even make it there. That is exactly what dealing with most of these counterparts about within the society and environment. Because the counterpart loves stagnant, wounded men who don't produce. Because not producing means that you're not going to buck her system. You're not going to take her power. And she's going to reward you with your end goal, which is a very end goal, easy end goal, with access. Then said failed individual get access, think he's more masculine than everybody else within the environment because he quote unquote hustled his way into her box. What's going on, something? So now, since that's his end goal, and he reaches his end goal quite quickly, the guy has stopped actually producing within his own right inside the environment. So now the standard of masculinity, because being a successful guy, she never keeps her kids around that. So this is why the cool auntie keeps you around the cool uncle and never tell you how this stuff is appropriately supposed to work. There is a strategy here. The strategy is to superimpose that type of masculinity inside your head. So that way you would never be able to grow to a person who would be able to challenge her authority. You have to separate yourself from the environment. Yes, you have to have a separation from the environment. You have to make sure that no part of this is going to be part of the new place of where you're going. I keep telling people this. You cannot smash up a machine the size of a systemic infection. You leave one part of this thing intact, and it'll rebuild itself right back into the same level of problem that it is today. It's just going to take additional time. But if you create a whole world where this stuff don't matter and don't exist, that you get to choose, most of it you're going to be alone with doing, then you've actually won. This is why the whole existence of me in this space destroys nearly every single argument that they have about preconceptions about Black culture. One, I don't care about the domestic counterpart's respect or attention level. Two, I don't care about unproductive men. Three, I've already built a society where none of these people's opinions are even possible. Four, I don't care about the kids because the kids are used as nothing but weapons to take care of the adults' responsibility. And five, I'm only interested in trying to help equals or people on the path to become equals. And the other thing that's the last, I know the process into become being compromised by the same thing. Only thing you have to do is give people a little bit of money, and the first people who they try to put on, that's their actual end goal. If you give people a little bit of money, they're trying to help uncle this and uncle that, and uncle ain't shit this, and auntie ain't shit that, and this ain't shit cousin, and trying to put everybody on, except for people who has the same mind state that he could have. That's when you know that this person is lost and you cannot help them. That's a strategy. Because they're doing the same thing to us. They want the benefit of intelligence, but they don't respect it because they can't control it. This is why you have so many circus clowns within the space and not real scholars. Real scholars want to actually study something and go to a specific result. Fake scholars want to merely just circle around within Black society, gaslighting people around LGBT and Black women, and not really provide no type of real result, just so long as they can keep their position of where they currently are. And this is just the beginning. You're going to find a whole lot more academics coming into the Black space of YouTube running the same bullshit game that everybody else is running. Because this whole thing is not about providing progress. It's about providing excuses to be stagnant. But there's a strategy to that. The strategy to that is to keep the problems going. So that way you don't have to keep worrying about progress. Because if you're inundated and saturated with failure as normal, you now have a new level of what you think is successful within the environment. That's how success within the environment became not challenging frauds and failures within the environment. That's how that became normal. That became normal because they made it become normal. Because anybody who could actually provide any tangible amount of solutions was going to be drowned out by the thousands of people who wanted to keep the cycle going. And then you have the people who are up and coming. The people who are up and coming don't want things to change because they wasted too much of their time trying to get access to the same system of stagnation. And no one wants to see that they wasted their entire life. This is why they're here. This is why the 50-year-olds are here, trying to make it look like they're good at chasing women. That's why they're here. That's why they're here. And this is why they're like those things that came from Thanos and the Infinity War when they was trying to get into Wakanda. That's what it is. All these reptiles are trying to pile in to do to make a hole, sacrificing themselves so that way they can get into the actual city that's far ahead of than they are. Yes. And most of these people don't realize how far behind they are until they get 18 or 19 years old, when it's time for them to produce on their own. Then they realize that they are a 18-year-old stuck in an 11-year-old's framework, where an 11-year-old is not expected to actually produce, but an 18-year-old is now knowing that they're not going to be able to joke and clown their way through life like they did and becoming an 18-year-old. The school system didn't want to deal with them, so they just pushed them out of the school system. So now they have their justifiable reason of why they need to survive more than anybody else within the environment, because they think that they should be surviving more. Like I said, there's a strategy to this. You're not going to be able to see change unless you do it within your own self and your own generation. These problems have started up to 15 to 18 years ago. The outcomes that we're seeing right now. Those people who are quote unquote ahead of us, they got this stuff rolling 18 and 19 years ago. This is why they have outcomes that are better than ours. But Shea Butter Allah, you have to realize they're running out of hosts because the information is getting to the lower individuals right away. The internet made that possible. Now, social media made two things possible. It made people look like they're successes when they're clearly not. And it also put on full display the actual progress or process itself so everybody can see the process from beginning to end. So now you got the candle burning at both ends. What's going on, BA? So with the candle burning at both ends, the people at the top is going to get burned, and the people at the bottom who don't change enough is going to get burned as well. Because the only thing people need was an actual way to see the actual track record from beginning to end. Because now everybody knows that everybody is running the same system everywhere else. What's going on, Nick? So now that everybody knows what system is running, because everybody can tangibly see the outcomes and the results. And once you're able to tangibly see the outcomes and tangibly see the results, now you understand how the system works from beginning to end. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of scamming ass dudes are having problems too. They can't be able to survive with all this information out here. There's not going to be any new dating coaches, folks. There's not going to be any online dating gurus or any of that other shit. That shit had its run, and you about to see these people's stuff go on live display, and it's not going to look good. But I'm just telling you up front, this stuff cannot survive unless you get your stuff together and frivolously give it away to somebody who's not worth it. There's a strategy here. This environment is waiting for more fried green tomatoes. There's about to be more fried green tomatoes. They want to make out of you, but you're supposed to blossom into a red tomato and go to market. Not stay in the environment and become fried green tomatoes. That's what they want. What's going on, Black Jordan? But this is where we are. There's a strategy. There's a strategy here when it came to the Black Brain Trust being formed, and everybody wanted to run counter information, trying to act like they're their own version of the Black Brain Trust. Because the Black Brain Trust was about progress. But they wanted to make it look like, oh, we could talk about technology too, and we could just sit here, we could just be stagnant. Like, nah, man. Like, they want to always mimic success to justify stagnation. That is what is happening here. Like I said, there's a strategy to this. This is why people who ain't got a message or any type of tangible fucking results got the best fucking equipment to broadcast bullshit. Because it's the equipment to broadcast bullshit that it matters more than the ideas, apparently. This is the whole image over substance piece. But substance have outcomes. Image don't have outcomes. Image requires more people to watch so that way it can be right. Tangible outcomes have things that can be proven that these right. So most people in the environment respect image more than outcomes. The image is going to get the views, not the outcomes. Again, there's a strategy to this. This is why I never made my shit done. Because I want the correct people here who want to listen to the information. Always, man. Always. That's the deal. That's the point. They want to project victory. That's the point. Because, see, you can only project victory if nobody understands your path. You don't have to project victory if people do understand your path from beginning to end. There's a strategy to this. There's a strategy to people talking about welfare bitches in 2021. There's a strategy to this. How is understanding welfare bitches gonna fucking help you move forward in the society and the environment? That's clown shit. What's going on? What's going on, Mike B? I know. But this is where we at, man. There's a strategy to this. Everybody want to look and form and not have tangibles. Tangibles don't need to be repeated. But intentions to get tangibles, man, that stuff has to be done over and over again. Think about the smarter people who join this space, who want to be the mouthpiece for street dudes within the space. How many times have we seen this shit when they eventually eat their mouthpiece? Eventually. But as long as they can be at work in a failed concept, it don't matter. But there's a strategy to this. The strategy was to not provide outcome. The strategy was to keep trying this failed system that they know that isn't going to work over and over again. That's what the strategy was. That's right. These are the people who want to raise face huggers from aliens. And they shocked and surprised when the face hugger hits on their face. Yes, these are Black American face huggers, man. Yes. They are literally raising xenomorphs right in front of our face and acting like we don't know the track record of what they're actually raising. This is indeed where we are, because the process and the progress was always going to be personal. It was always going to be personal. You can't become a connoisseur of information. You have to be able to act. Yeah, that's what it is. But there's a strategy to this. The strategy to this is to make failure look cool. Yeah, Black George, I'm telling you, man, these dudes are poison ivy farmers, man. But they don't want there to be progression within the environment. This is why they can never be caught talking about an end goal. There is no end goal for entertainers. The end goal for entertainers is for the exact same circumstances to stay there and allow them to be where they are in the first place. If there's no difference between entertainers and actual PhDs, they actually provide the same service, because PhD is an entertainment service as long as there is no progression attached to it. You become part of the entertainment field, except you're just a smarter version of the entertainment field, providing the same level of self-reliance that entertainment provides. This stuff is not hard. I keep telling you, it's not hard to get. But see, you got to be on your level of progression and watching these things not change alongside of you progressing. This stuff has always been the same. Progressing within the environment always requires you taking yourself off the field, focusing on something. Because it's the same level of success where you go. Adapt, improve, change. Adapt, improve, change. Adapt, improve, change. Adapt, improve, change. It's not hard. But these people came through and they wanted to make mistakes look easy. Well, you can recover from mistakes. Look at me. I talk about mistakes all the time. I ain't been destroyed yet. Like, this is what you got going on, man. And then these same people have the nerve to talk about success, progress, and projecting masculinity because they're not a man. Men don't have to project masculinity. Actual men don't have to go around calling themselves alpha. Who are you trying to convince? Me or yourself? Me or the camera? Me or the people at home? But this is the actual thing that people don't get. This is why there's so much projection in this space. Success projection. But you don't get that. You're never going to get there being able to project something that you can actually practice. This is why when you go up to a huckster ass motherfucker, you just ask them what field they're in. And what field they're in should be followed up. How far are you in this field? That's how it works. But these people have spent their lifetimes making bullshit in the actual field. The only thing it requires is a suspension of disbelief for everybody around them, mixed in with the scam culture, mixed in with the respecting a dude's hustle culture. Stupid shit. That's how it works. You have to respect their ability to be able to consume things within the environment. And let me tell you about what this culture of scam culture is about. There's a reason and a rationale why you need to respect their hustle. Because you have to understand, for scamming ass dudes, they don't know how to legitimately create. And if you don't legitimately know how to create, you want to overpack the system full of as many scamming ass dudes as possible, so that way you can practice somebody else's scam within the environment. That's how it works. That's how you can get the street perspective thinking that they need to talk about shit that they're not even qualified to talk about. Why? Because if everybody respected everybody's hustle, the only thing you're going to be overpacked with at some point is a whole bunch of bullshit artists talking about shit that they don't even know. But if everybody respected everybody, then the level to be able to get blood out of an orange is what's to be respected. Not the fact that you're supposed to get orange juice out of an orange on the one-to-one basis. Again, like I said last night, there is no hustle that requires that nobody gets screwed over. That doesn't exist. Somebody becomes the object of what's happening within the environment. But this is where we at. There's a strategy to this. I keep telling you, man, there's a strategy to this. You think if these people actually had kids, if they would actually teach their kids what's right and what's wrong within the environment, you actually think they'd do that? No. They'll find a clever dick way to superimpose their bullshit and their lack of progression within the environment, and somehow make their child hate actual progression within the environment without the bullshit attached to it. That's what happened with all these trash DNA ass kids that got weaponized against them because the women was not interested in progress in the environment. They was interested in maintaining their actual power within the environment. So since these geniuses and self-appointed social engineers decided to go dick down feminism, which is what they want in the first place, that somehow they was going to win the game by giving them more kids. So they start shoving more and more kids into this system, thinking that they was going to break the system. It didn't happen. And you have to admit that's what didn't happen. Learning all this game shit, practicing it, and feeding your best self to people who don't even give a shit about you. That didn't win. That didn't work for you. But you have to keep in mind, this is just February. And they got to keep doing this stuff, man. This is what they've attached their life to. And these same people in the future are going to want to come before other people who legitimately spent their time producing and preparing for a specific result. And they're going to want to come, they're going to want opportunity before the people who legitimately need it. You see them? The people from the actual 90s who are just now getting out of prison for serving them long ass sentences. They get out of jail, have learned no lesson. They want to come before everybody else within the environment on the same selfish ass bullshit that they was that led them to picking up that substance and selling that bullshit in the environment in the first place. You're right. And with all the oxygen taken out of the room, we're talking to women by KS and Jessica. This shit is going to get hilarious. Oh yeah, these people going to start going in on each other way before the summer. It could be even as early as next month. But again, there's a strategy to this. If you're not progressing at all, there's a strategy to keep at war with the things that you have no intention on changing within the environment. The mythical negotiation table is still there for you to come to, which is a cutting board. It's a big ass cutting board. You ever go to the meat market and you see that iron thing that they put the big ass salami on and they just keep running it back and forth and pieces of meat fall out the other side? That's your dumb ass. Once you show up to this so-called negotiation table. They're like, ooh, productive man. I would like some productive man. I don't know what this has to do with the conversation, Jimmy Baller. I think incels are in the perfect position. Just so long as they are focusing on productivity, I don't see anything wrong with incels at all. Because the real incels are the dudes who selling game. Those are the real incels. You know, other legitimate incels out themselves, but there's a level of incel within the actual environment that nobody focuses on, and that's the people who are projecting actual success. Those are the real incels. The dudes who wish they could have another piece but can't. Yeah, yeah. The incels are selling game. Like that's how stupid it's got. It's the incels that are selling game. It's the incels who cannot conceivably go up to another woman without getting the rest of their ass handed to them. These are the dudes who are selling game. We talking about dudes, non-productive, having all-night broadcasts about women, but not showing you any women. Hey, as long as you can take people off the board for them to be able to weaponize, I'm good. I mean, man, like, how many times are we gonna have all-night discussions about game, but no producing of the women of game? How many times are we going to show you not being chosen upon by anybody in the environment, but you want to speak from a level that you are chosen upon within the environment? How many times are we going to listen to this shit? But don't worry, I got a good microphone. Therefore, I got good content. All right, man. All right, man. You go ahead. You go ahead. We used to have these people in the military too, who show up with all this tactical ass gear, special gloves, and all this shit. It comes time to arrest somebody. This motherfucker tripping over himself, doing all this stupid ass shit. Like, what the fuck is this? Did you just buy all this fucking equipment to mask the actual fact that you can't do a goddamn thing? What the fuck? Hey, oh man, retrain this motherfucker. Take this gear off. Take the gear off. Yeah, like, yeah. Again, it's the image of success. It's not tangible. It's the image of success. I'm successful because I bought all this fucking studio equipment. Now, I'm not going to upgrade what the fuck I talk about. I'm just going to say I'm at the top because I got top-notch equipment. All right, man. All right, man. All right, man. All right, man. That's what I'm saying, man. These are the dudes. These are the dudes with like 50 kills and no shots fired and like Call of Duty, man. Running up behind motherfuckers knifing dudes, man. That's all they good at. No progression on any type of weapon, but leveling up that fucking knife is premier to these dudes. Yeah, man. But don't worry about that. The only thing you got to do is go out here and buy equipment, and all of a sudden you're just gonna be successful. All right, man. All right, man. All right. No, no. I can actually turn my mic up louder than you. That makes me more writer than you. That's where we at, man. That's where we are. That's exactly where we are, man. Yep. Can't shoot worth a shit, but can backstab, wielding the motherfucker. Yeah, man, that's how it was with the police force, man. The people who stay the longest are the people who can kiss the most ass, stab the most people in the fucking back, and not give a shit about the tangible job that they're there for in the first place. It's the fucking same. The moment there's a big bust, they come out of this shit. They want their name all over the fucking paperwork and shit. Yeah, man, that's all it is. It's no different. I'm telling you, it's no different. But there's a strategy to this. They want to make failure look easy, and you can succeed at failure, man. I'm telling you, dude, you can get your shit together, watch this crazy shit go down, and by the time you're done with your path, you are further ahead, and they still gonna be doing the same shit. That's the message. You still got to make personal progression. That's the message. You still got to do shit. That's the message. That's the message. You still got to do shit. And people are having less and less and less respect for people who don't produce. They are every day. They're not even trying to give people shots and chances for even mentorship now. They're not. Because there's too many people out there with tangible skill sets that they can put on right away. This is why you're not going to be able to BS most of this stuff out here nowadays, man. This is why all this stuff is implausible. They want the implausible to speak. They want the implausible to actually function in the place of people who are far better than them. They want to drown out tangibility. They want to drown out tangibles. I'm telling you, this stuff isn't going to get any harder than it is now. This is why it's vitally important that you see and understand the process from beginning to end. If you understand the process from beginning to end, you can't be bullshit about shade tree hucksters. You're just not going to have it happen. You're not going to be able to have it happen the way that they're trying to present it. The way they're presenting it is a way to not do it. Yes, it's not that difficult, but it's very specific. You got to get very specific about the things that are going on within the environment. Because once you get there, you're not going to be able to take these people with you anyway. The only time you're going to see these people in person are at the holiday gatherings. And they're going to look the same. They're going to act the same. They're going to act like they got all this shit under control. And then the moment everybody is not around, they turn around and ask you for some damn money. Right after they just told you that they was winning everything. That's the way this stuff is. If you don't plant in the spring, don't bother worrying about what comes out of the ground during the summer. Don't worry about it. But the way this has currently been going is they don't plant in the spring and they get rewarded in the summer as if they planted in the spring. This is how this is currently has happened within the environment. Because nobody was going to be saved by the artificial bottom of no competition. Now you can't exist in that world anymore. You can't exist in that world anymore now. That world is done. The actual ability to scam and glad hand your way through this environment, it's over. It was a long run. but it was never going to work for the full time. Remember, there's a strategy to this. Your stagnation, there's a strategy to this. Their level of false pause progress, there's a strategy to this. That's right. There's a strategy to this. Yes, there is a strategy, and you have to learn about what true progression looks like. So that way you're not sitting around wanting things for very false reasons. I cannot tell you enough, there's a strategy to this, beginning and end. Because if you don't understand the strategy, you're not going to be in business very long. I tell you right now, in business, most of the people I talk to on the phone are full of shit. I'm talking about nearly 100% of them. But see, I wouldn't have known that if I didn't understand the process of what they're actually trying to sell and for what reason. This is how I also found out that the people who interviewed the best are the people who provided the worst type of outcome. Why? Interviews about image. Tangibles is not about image. Tangibles is something that you can verify. Image is something that's presented and you have a good feeling inside your head. This is why you got to make sure the actual words match up with the actual actions. It's not hard. But most people want their actions not to speak louder than their words. And that's wrong. Your actions are going to need to speak, no matter how far you go. You see, nobody wants to talk about the tangible outcomes because outcomes are something you can't bullshit. If you have to hand me a straight up report card, there's nothing you're going to be able to say to me that's going to be able to fool my eyes about what I'm looking at on the paper. This shit failed. We have the outcomes already. The numbers are in. Not voting, not participating, not maximizing information, not maximizing productivity has failed. And the problem is you got productive people who want to hang out with failures. I could take a guess. These people out here trying to gaslight and do all this other stuff. It don't work anymore. People can just simply go over to another culture and get somebody to build with. You lost. This is why I'm not even worried about what people are doing within this environment. I'm just trying to make sure that this message get down low enough so that way you can understand that you as a man have the maximum level of productivity that you can gain. They're good ass programmers that I know who are paraplegics. These dudes couldn't walk around, graduated high school, was a special ed all the time. This person found something that they could dedicate their entire lives to, reading books and all this kind of stuff. Dude's a dynamite programmer. Sitting at home, making a boatload of money, chilling. Why? You connect the opportunity to somebody who wanted to work for it. That was the deal. And the work is still going to have to be done on your side. So you can't possibly say that you don't respect productivity, but everything else is going to work for you. Nah, man. Not respecting productivity is going to mess up your entire life. It's going to color the way you see every single thing that you process through your brain is going to be focused on, do you respect the tangibles? If you don't respect the tangibles, you're going to see a way to try to hustle a specific result. That's how these huckster and con artists come in here. They're trying to project success. This is why they look at tangibles. They look at tangibles in a way that they can be able to fakely produce the image of that. Other people like myself, I look at the process from beginning to end to see how I can tangibly produce that. Not that I need to, but I need to understand the process for myself. Because how am I going to be able to judge a process that I don't understand? Because they come for the people who want to benefit without understanding the process. That's how you get scammed. By wanting to benefit without understanding the process. And they know, because Black America creates a lot of these emotional ass disturbed people on a nearly cyclical rate. It's not hard. It's very easy. I'm telling you up front so that way you can be able to practice this in your life. I just don't want you to be a connoisseur of the information and not do anything with it. That's not why I'm doing this show. Doing the show so that way you can be able to see this stuff coming and make the actual adjustments accordingly. All right, man. I got to roll out. I want to thank the people who super chatted, but you guys need to understand the actual super chat max is not winning out here. It's the people who are producing out here outside of YouTube. Can you make a decent living on YouTube? Yes, I imagine you could. But it's not going to be something that everybody can do. It takes a lot of stagnation to produce a specific result. So I want to thank you guys for coming through on the Man Tomorrow. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And you guys have a really nice, productive Sunday. Later.